This story starts during an art club meeting. We had 2 business students come in with a PowerPoint presentation about the company they wanted to start for one of their classes. In summary, their class required them to produce, manufacture, and sell a product within 2 quarters. So they chose to make a graphic novel company, and their plan was 1. Create a 50-page one-shot, 2. Print copies, and then 3. Sell them. And they were now here to recruit some of us to join their project. Overall, they were looking for 1 to 2 line artists, 1 second draft storyboarder, 1 person to do backgrounds, and then 1 person to color and shade everything. Now, they were giving 1 week for writing, 2 weeks for storyboarding, 5 weeks for line art, color, and shading, and 1 week for final touches. Following that, there were 5 weeks for printing and manufacturing, and another 5 weeks for selling. This was the equation that they gave us on how the workload was going to look like. So, it was 50 pages times 3 hours per page equals 150 hours, plus a 20% buffer equals about 180 hours of work overall. Take that 180 hours of work and divide it by 10 weeks, and then you get about 18 hours of work per week. Then it's 18 divided by 5, which equals about 4 hours per person per week. Their story was going to be a 50-page manga one-shot. Now keep in mind, a manga volume usually has about 180 to 220 pages in it, so they're asking for a quarter of a manga volume. I don't know if you know, but as someone who's worked on comics for others and for herself, this equation had some red flags in it. I could tell that this equation and timeline were made by someone who hasn't been in the artist position in a project like this. Now, I wasn't there for how they came up with this bizarre work plan equation, but the math wasn't quite mathing. The first and second part made sense, but the third one I couldn't quite wrap my head around. So by using all of my brain, this is what I came up with for what I think they meant. Either the second line is a typo and it's 4 hours of work a day, which is the same as a part-time job, or they think that a manga page, start to finish, including color and shading, takes 3 hours. Which is very unrealistic, as a manga page takes about 5 to 15 hours on average, depending on how experienced the artist is, and it takes even more time if it's going to be colored and shaded. And the cherry on top of all of this was that there was going to be absolutely no monetary reimbursement, only portfolio buffing and experience. Now, don't get me wrong, I've done things like this before. I would work for free with unreasonable hours for an influential and known company to put on my resume, or if it was a passion project that I was excited to work on. But this was not that. After the club meeting, I called my parents and explained the situation to them, just to double check that I wasn't being stupid and I was missing out on a good opportunity. My parents agreed with me and said that I shouldn't take on this project, and my dad said that he would have actually been disappointed with me if I had. A couple days later, I was hanging out with 2 of my friends after class, and I brought the situation up. I asked them for their opinion on the project, and they also thought it was unreasonable and was a bad deal. Now, I feel bad for the people who signed up for this insane workload, but it's not my place to say what others should or shouldn't do. I think this will be a learning experience for all parties involved. So if you're a creative and you're starting to get out there, please remember that your time is money, and all the time you spend honing your craft is valuable. Unpaid experience is good for learning or to be a stepping stone for later on. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. No one can force you to use your talents on their projects. So, this video took a lot longer to make than I expected, as I was working through finals, and that I also broke my foot during the making of this video, but that is a story for another day, and I'll be telling that tale in the next video, so stay tuned, be sure to like and subscribe, and toodaloo!